In the beginning, there was nothing, only darkness, no light, no land, no sky, just the Spirit of God moving over the deep. Then God spoke, and creation began. Day 1, God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. He separated the light from the darkness, calling the light day and the darkness night. That was the first day. Day 2, God created the sky, a vast space to separate the waters above from the waters below. That was the second day. Day 3, God gathered the waters under the sky to reveal dry land. He called the dry land earth and the gathered waters seas. Then the earth brought forth plants, trees, and all kinds of vegetation. That was the third day. Day 4, God placed lights in the sky, the sun to rule the day, the moon to rule the night, and stars to shine above, to mark seasons, days, and years. That was the fourth day. Day 5, God filled the waters with sea creatures, and the skies with birds. He blessed them to multiply and fill the earth. That was the fifth day. Day 6, God made all kinds of animals, wild creatures, livestock, and crawling things. Then, God created something truly special, human beings, male and female, in His own image. He blessed them and gave them authority over the earth. That was the sixth day. Day 7, God's work was complete, so He rested. He blessed the seventh day and made it holy, and so the heavens and the earth were made, perfectly ordered, intentionally designed by the Word of God. This is Genesis chapter 1. This is Genesis chapter 2. The heavens and the earth were completed, but something was missing. God had formed the world, but there was no one to tend the land. So from the dust of the ground, God shaped a man and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living soul. God planted a garden in Eden, a paradise of beauty and provision. In the middle of the garden stood 2 trees. One gave life, the other offered knowledge of good and evil. God placed the man in the garden to work it and care for it, but He said, "It is not good for man to be alone." So from the man, while he slept, God took a rib, and from that rib He formed a woman, a companion, a helper, bone of his bone, flesh of his flesh. Together they were complete, naked, and unashamed. This chapter reveals not just creation, but relationship, purpose, and divine design. Genesis chapter 3. From Eden to exile. The first sin and God's promise. In the stillness of Eden, a cunning serpent appeared. He whispered to the woman, "Did God really say?" Then he lied. "You will not die. Your eyes will be opened. You'll be like God, knowing good and evil." Eve looked at the fruit. It seemed good, desirable, powerful. She took it and ate, then gave it to Adam, and he ate too. In that moment, everything changed. Their eyes were opened, and they saw their nakedness. Shame flooded in. They sewed fig leaves together and hid from the presence of God. But the Lord came walking in the garden, calling, "Where are you?" They confessed, but the blame began. Adam pointed to Eve. Eve blamed the serpent. Then came the curse. The serpent would crawl on his belly, forever despised. The woman would suffer pain in childbirth and feel the weight of desire and submission. The man would toil, working the cursed ground with sweat just to eat. From dust he came, and to dust he would return. But even in judgment, God made a promise. One day the seed of the woman would rise. He would crush the serpent's head. God made garments of skin to clothe them. Then He drove them out of the garden, away from the tree of life. A flaming sword guarded the way back. from Eden to exile, from innocence to brokenness. But even in their fall, God left a thread of hope. Grace had the final word. Genesis chapter 4. Cain and Abel, a tale of worship, wrath, and mercy. Adam and Eve had a son, Cain. Then came his brother, Abel. Cain became a tiller of the ground. Abel was a keeper of sheep. In time they both brought offerings to the Lord. Cain from the fruit of the land, Abel from the firstborn of his flock. But God accepted Abel's offering and rejected Cain's. Cain burned with anger, his face fell, and God warned him, "If you do well, will you not be accepted? But if not, sin is waiting. It desires to control you, but you must rule over it." Still, Cain lured his brother to the field, and there, in cold blood, he killed him. God called out, "Where is your brother?" Cain replied, "I don't know. Am I my brother's keeper?" But God knew. And Abel's blood cried out from the ground. So the Lord cursed Cain. The land would no longer yield for him. He would become an outcast, a restless wanderer on the earth. Cain cried out, "My punishment is too great." But God, even in judgment, had mercy. He placed a mark on Cain, a sign of protection, so no one would kill him. Cain left the Lord's presence and settled in the land of Nod. Generations followed, cities built, sons born, music played, and tools forged. But darkness still lingered. Violence echoed in Lamech's voice, boasting of blood and vengeance. And yet, hope rose again. Adam and Eve had another son, Seth, and through him a new line began, a line that would call on the name of the Lord. Genesis chapter 5. From Adam to Noah, a lineage of life and legacy. This is the book of the generations of Adam. When God created man, he made him in his likeness. Male and female he created them, and he blessed them. Adam lived, and he died. Seth lived, and he died. Enoch, Kenan, Mahalalel, Jared. Each generation came and went. But one man stood out, Enoch. Enoch walked with God. He lived not just long, but close. And then he was no more, because God took him. The pattern continues, generation after generation, until we reach Noah. Born in troubled times, his father Lamech said, "This one will comfort us concerning our work and the toil of our hands." From Adam to Noah, a line preserved, names that seem distant, but each part of God's unfolding plan. This chapter reminds us, life has limits, but walking with God leaves a legacy beyond time.